and welcome to Griffon Update. I'm Brooke Anderson.
And I'm Tommy Marshall. Griffon Update is our student-produced digital magazine show bringing you news, sports, and information from Missouri Western State University and the surrounding region.
During each program, we will present an in-depth look at the people, places, and events that make Missouri Western and the Northwest region of Missouri a great place to call home. On
today's show, we'll take a look at what is keeping students up at night and their obvious lack of sleep.
We'll also give you an inside look at the world of our growing international student population and the culture shock they experience in their role as a Missouri Western student.
And of course, Amari Martin will join us for her sports report.
But first, how tuned in are you to your local music scene? Tommy shows us where you can check it out.
Live music is one of society's biggest pastimes. There's not much better than going out on a weekend with a couple of friends and going to see a band you love or experience music that you've never heard before. There's a lot that goes into the live show. The promoter, the sound man, the band themselves, but there wouldn't even be a show without the venue. These places provide the space for everything to happen. They're the safe haven for the emotion of the live performance. These venues can range from a smoky dive bar to a church or a theater. As such, most towns are filled with them, and St. Joseph has some notable ones. One such venue that has housed a number of shows over the years is the NYC, located inside of Word of Life Church on Riverside Road. Ever since the room was built in 2006, several big names have played in the room, such as Leland, The Letter Black, and Kairos. Along with big names, the NYC has also hosted a number of shows for local artists. The most notable of these is the Spook Show. The Spook Show was a concert held yearly around Halloween that would showcase local bands and raise money for a charity. The NYC has a big stage for bands to play on, as well as a grill area where people can order food and a lounge area where people can relax.
If we're having a concert, we love music and the arts, and so part of our role as the church is to help foster the arts in our community. And so one of the ways that we can do that is just to be a venue for concerts and even sometimes promote and put together shows so that the arts have an outlet to continue to thrive, and we believe in that as a church to do beautiful things like that. So anyone coming that would be a guest or new and have reservations because it's a church, know that I think they would find this a very comfortable place to be in.
Another such venue is the Paradox Theater and Coffee Shop. Paradox is located in downtown St. Joseph, right next to the Ground Round. The room is fairly recent, being opened in 2014, and the venue has gained quite an audience since then. While the room is home to Make 12 Church, they also host a number of concerts and live music events there. Some notable artists who have played the Paradox are Devil in the Details, Sweetest Hint, and the Center State, all local favorites in their respective genres. The venue also houses a coffee shop that is open for guests during shows, which they can order an array of coffee and pastries. The room has a fairly sized stage and plenty of seating, including an upper deck to watch the show from.
So what I want to see with the coffee shop, I want to see it fill up with people drawing and playing music and talking, and that really is, what I'm most excited for. We're going to try different events. We're starting with some art events and just inviting people to come jam, and then the event space is still here, so it's a much wider space, and we do coffee for that. So those are, weddings, film festivals. We do the Missouri Western Film Festival here, but several others as well. Music nights, so.
Be sure to keep an eye on all these places and more for the next time they're having a show. I'm Tommy Marshall, reporting.
So, what was your favorite venue?
Definitely the NYC. Great place to play some shows. And although spending your evenings listening to music until the wee hours is one way to lose sleep, Missouri Western students seem to be finding lots of ways to lose sleep, which isn't really a good thing. Reporter Jess Kopp investigates.
Getting enough sleep isn't always as easy as it sounds.
A lot of times people don't sleep just because, especially worry, anxiety. They might be stressed out about school, obviously finals coming up. But it could be other things too, family, relationships, friendships, things on their minds. So that can kind of interfere with sleep, I think.
Sleeping in an appropriate amount of time each night, at least 8 hours, offers many important health benefits and shouldn't be ignored.
Helps with learning, and it helps your body repair itself. It helps with preventing heart disease, obesity, high blood pressure. People who don't get enough sleep, studies have shown that they have increased risk for heart disease, obesity, things like that.
Especially during exam time, students can get very stressed and sacrifice sleep in favor of studying.
But realistically, they stay up late, they cram, they drink lots of caffeine, so they're not getting enough sleep, and it does interfere with your learning, even though you don't think it does. Just try to eat right, exercise, and not stay up all night studying, but those things help.
Still, there are things students can do to wind down.
There's sleep hygiene, where you don't drink caffeine later in the day, no TV on, no electronics. You can have like tea sometimes helps. Certain types of tea helps people relax when they go to bed, things like that. Not having pets in there.
You know, just pick a particular time to go to bed, a particular time to get up. Try to avoid sleeping in. Try to get some type of exercise, whatever you might enjoy. It might just simply going for some walks can be great. With other tips on anxiety, talking to people about things on your mind. If you're worried about things that you have to accomplish or do, just maybe making a list even of that stuff, and so that's kind of a reminder for the next day so you don't forget. So.
If nothing really helps, it is possible to try out over-the-counter medication.
If it's been going on for a couple of weeks and they've tried all these sleep hygiene things, then they might consider trying some over-the-counter things like melatonin, which is more natural. Some like Unisom, or there's like Benadryl in a lot of sleep aids over the counter you can try, and if those haven't worked, then it might be time to seek medical help.
This was Jess Cobb for Griffon Update.
Thanks, Jess. Brooke, when was the last time you got a good night's sleep?
You know, Tommy, I honestly can't remember. But while I think about it, we're going to take a short break and maybe even a little snooze. We'll be right back.
One out of every 4 car accidents are caused by texting and driving.
Wait, what did you just say?
You heard me. That's better. Keep your eyes on the road.
Welcome back. Missouri Western has a growing international student population, and with it, unique challenges in adapting to student life. Reporter Wajdan Al-Harbi takes us into the world of the new international student.
Many international students come to Missouri Western with the dreams of getting a higher education. Yet, some are caught off guard by the many educational and social differences, which could cause a cultural shock.
When the student leaves his or her country and discovers that things are different.
You have a certain way of thinking, or a certain way of eat, or a certain way to behave, but that can be denied by the new culture.
When you're used to your mother's cooking or your aunt's, and then you come here and you either have to cook for yourself or you have to eat in the cafeteria, it's a huge culture shock. The society of a school is different here than it is in many countries. We had students from the country of Brazil, and they don't take notes in their classrooms. It's an insult in their country to take notes while the professor is speaking. Something as simple as writing. When a student comes to the U.S., most of them can read printing, but many of our professors write cursive on the board, and the students can't read cursive.
The staff at Missouri Western works hard to ease the students' transitions.
So we try to be family, we try to be supportive. We have the International Student Service Center.
Many instructors advised the students to be involved in the school activities.
We typically offer a lot of activities, which is not necessarily we build, but I want students to come and ask us what they want to do. Some people are very flexible and open-minded and ready to try the new thing. If you have a chance, take it. Don't think twice, but just do it. You fail, you will learn from that. It's part of your experience. So don't hesitate to do anything new and something new, but just take the opportunity.
To build relationships with their instructors so that we know how to help them, have access to a cell phone. So the more they understand and know and can access information, the healthier, stronger, better student they'll be.
The cultural shock is a very real phenomenon, and one that is addressed with much sensitivity and care by the faculty and personnel at Missouri Western State University. This is Wishdon Al-Harbi reporting for the Griffon News.
Thanks, Wedgton. By the way, Wedgton is from Saudi Arabia and is part of our Applied Digital Media Master's program.
Hey, that's pretty cool. One way that international students, as well as students on campus, can get help academically is through the Center for Academic Support. Reporter Adib Al-Sawi introduces its many services.
Since 1972, the Center of Academic Support has offered free tutoring for every Missouri Western State University student in many areas. Susan Garrison, the director of CAS, explained these areas.
The first area is math. It's also our most utilized service. In general, students can walk in and get assistance with any math course from Math 081 up through Math 167. Writing is our second most utilized subject, and our writing tutors work one-on-one with students for a half an hour at a time. Our third area that we see people coming in for tutoring is content tutoring. And so content tutoring can basically be anything from psychology to French to German, anything that's not writing or math.
Every student can get unlimited access to the CAS during the school week. Also, they can get help from more than 100 tutors.
I want to be a math tutor because I find that my specialty is in math, and I found that if there's one subject I like most, it's math, because I can find a definite answer and come to a conclusion, and that's what makes me happy. So when I can help other people come to the same conclusion, I know I have a way of finding answers to problems, and some people don't have that simplicity of coming to answers, or they find it a little bit harder to come to those answers. So I like to help people with that logic and help work them through those problems, and try to give them the same satisfaction that I have when I finish a problem or finish my homework.
We have 25 math and writing tutors, and in general, students can walk in for a math or writing appointment. We have 80 content tutors, and content tutors, you actually have to make an appointment via email with those students, and then they will email you back and confirm the appointment time, and then you'll meet here at the Center for Academic Support.
Just last fall, the number of appointments was almost 6,000 with over 800 students. Moreover, students spent over 5,000 hours learning and interacting.
I believe it's helpful because the teachers use a different sort of terminology than what the book does. I know with math, that's mainly what it is with me. And these guys can help, kind of point out and bridge the gap of what's going on and help me to better understand.
We also work with the Intensive English program. Students who are full-time at the Intensive English program are required to come and work with our writing tutors 3 times per week. So our writing tutors have additional training, and they actually plan the activities that they do with the Intensive English program students in conjunction with the IEP faculty.
The Center of Academic Support not only offers services for students, but also guides them to be successful. For Griffon News and Griffon Updates, Adib Al-Sawi.
Thanks, Adib. Another one of our Saudi ADM students. For more information, stop in the CAS office next to the library.
Finally, in our look at the realm of the international student at Missouri Western, Raghu Ketakonda explains the Intensive English program.
When I was in Japan, I was good at grammar and reading because usually Japanese students study grammar and reading a lot, but we don't have opportunity to practice listening and speaking English. I couldn't speak English, even conversation. So I decided to take IP program. I wanted to improve my listening and speaking skills.
Not only you go, but also so many students from all over the world getting opportunity to learn English. The intensive English program at Missouri Western State University was developed in 2008. It was started to offer international students a strong foundation in English language.
We started with one student and now we have almost 30. Our students have come from all over the world. We are fortunate to have many resources for our students at Missouri Western. We have CAS, which is the Academic Center for Support, where we have free tutors. We have our library, our Hearn Center. We have special events on campus, and we have our conversation partners who speak and practice English with our students. And we also have cultural field trips every month. We want our students to be successful.
Intensive English program helped me a lot with my English. After attending this program, I met many people from other countries and American English native speakers. I had more opportunities to practice my English in my daily life.
Another good thing about this program is most students get through the program in about 2 semesters, sometimes even 1. Compared to other universities, here the program is very intensive and moves students into university quite quickly.
I can say that IP classes are very important for anyone who is an international student like I am, because at the beginning I cannot speak English, I cannot listen to any English, but when I start the IP classes, I met with many people, we used to talk in a group, and such work at class make me improve with my English. Now I know I can speak English, and I'm doing well in my classes in college.
Here at the Intensive English program, we're always trying to improve our program and to help our students better to prepare for their academic career here at the university. In fact, they oftentimes can even take some academic classes while taking classes with us at the same time.
The intensive English program supports the student even after they completed the program. Missouri Western State University, Raghavendra Kotakonda.
Thanks, Raghu. It's interesting. We sometimes struggle in our classes, but I can't even imagine what it would be like if we had to study in a second language.
Good point. We'll be right back after this message.
A leading problem I've faced is a misunderstanding on the part of students of the importance of academic advising. They miss appointments. They don't make appointments. But what's most disappointing is when they come unprepared. Give me a student with a plan in their head, or better yet, on paper. We could talk about their interests, not just about their classes. We could discuss internships, classwork, grad programs. It would open the door to what advising is truly about.
Can I help you?
But instead, they come to me in a panic when they need to register because...
I need to talk to you. I was trying to register for my classes, but it wouldn't let me do it because I need my PIN, and I haven't had time to set up an advising, so I don't even know what classes I need to take, so I just signed up for a bunch of random ones, and I'm going to drop them later. So can I have my PIN real fast, because I'm still logged into a computer in the lab. Am I interrupting?
Take ownership of your education. Make the most of your advisement by being proactive, punctual, and prepared. You'll open the door to more personalized attention and avoid costly setbacks. It's never too soon to begin planning your next steps at Missouri Western.
If you want a real change of pace, drive into St. Joseph and take a stroll along the Riverside Walkway. While there, you will definitely want to visit the Remington Nature Center. Executive producer Heather Gronke takes us on a tour.
Established in 2008, the Remington Nature Center has since been enlightening the St. Joseph community with town history and wildlife education.
The goal was, it was a dream of our past director, Bill McKinney was his name. Bill retired March of 2015. And his dream was to have a nature center that would teach both the historical history of the local community here, in the Midwest, and especially St. Joseph, and the nature side of it. But what he wanted to do was to marry the two of them together to try to teach how man has impacted nature in the area.
There's much to see and much more to learn, as a person could spend hours walking, reading, and even listening to recordings due to the center having so much information to offer. While roaming the halls, you can even expect to see various animals like these lining your path. The Nature Center is very interactive, as you can actually see a water filtration system in action opposed to just reading about it. The Nature Center is open year-round and hosts a variety of events.
We have graduation parties, birthday parties. In fact, we're having my mother's 80th birthday party there later this month. And we have weddings. We have corporate meetings, fundraising meetings, just any type of a group where people are looking for a conference room type setting, or a convention, small convention room. They'll come and see us.
A really cool aspect of the center is a walkthrough where you enter a cave-like atmosphere and then you exit through 18th century St. Joseph. You will initially see cavemen like this and cave paintings, fur trappers, and household essentials. You will also walk through a tent and then see a few little shops that were once a part of St. Joseph. Getting to experience caveman times, Indian, Western, and then 18th century St. Joseph all in a few minutes is just amazing. The Remington Nature Center is a great place to explore and learn about St. Joe history.
Come visit it. There's going to be some things that you think you know, but that you're going to learn a little bit different.
For Griffon Update, this has been Heather Gronke reporting.
Thanks, Heather. Hey, Brooke, have you ever noticed how many sculptures Missouri Western has sprinkled all over campus?
I've noticed a few here and there.
Well, over the years, Missouri Western has been adding to its outdoor sculpture collection. Reporter Karthik Gadamidi showcases the many works that beautify our campus.
Sculptures aren't meant to just sit there. They're meant to bring up discussions, Every time you put in a sculpture, there's going to be people who say, oh, I love it, or oh, I hate it. Always. There's always going to be those two sides. But for an artist, I think that's great.
The sculptures on Missouri Western State University campus are not only beautifying the campus, but also evokes an intellectual, creative thinking in our minds.
Most of the sculptures on campus are abstracted or non-representational.
The Walter Cronkite bust, that's something that I get asked a lot is, how did you do that? How in the world did you make that? I've had people say, well, did you cast it off of him? Or it's like, no, I never met the guy,
Centennial statue went through really 2 rounds of consideration. First was the art department, who took all of the submissions and whittled them down to a group of 5. Those 5 finalists chose this statue to be part of the Centennial Capital Campaign and as a fixture on our campus. And there was work done with the artist, making some changes in her original plan, and the statue finally ended up. We did a lot of time looking for the appropriate location for it. to make sure that the statue was placed where it was highly visible.
The new 100-year sculpture out front, so when you come in, you get to see kind of a modern design of this Griffon, you know, and we've got another Griffon on campus as well.
The sculptures that are around Potter Hall, there's one out in front that's stainless steel, one in the back that's painted steel, and then another one that is kind of a long line looking piece. Those are all three done by Jim Estes.
Music of the spheres. Brent is not a mathematician, but he has an intuition about mathematics that comes through in his artwork. Ended up costing about $100,000 in private money, and the one on the inside is called Evolving Trefoils and cost about $108,000 of privately raised money to install.
The color of it reminds me of bone as well, you know, and yet it's not, it's man-made, and there's that kind of back and forth between natural and man-made. And
the installation of these two sculptures led to a third smaller sculpture called Genesis that is on display in our building that the biology department purchased. I was particularly interested in this sculpture, however, because for years in my genetics class I had students studying DNA with this type of a model, and students would make structures such as this that are called DNA supercoiling, and the structure that my students had been making for years was very much like the structure that Brett Collins happened to make with his sculpture Genesis. So now Brett Collins too knows about DNA supercoiling. Later donated his entire collection of studio art to Missouri Western, which is over 100 pieces made from a type of a synthetic polymer and also carved from wood by him. We have 8 of those pieces on display right now here at Missouri Western, and more are on the way. So we're very pleased to have these.
It does broaden the mind of art students as well as students in general to see a variety of different sculptures.
The Missouri Western campus is a best bet for you to visit for a wide range of abstract to creative sculptures. Reporting for Griffon News, Karthik Gadamidi.
Thanks, Karthik. One of the many students at Missouri Western from India and a student in the ADM program.
Hello, Mari. What's been going on at Missouri Western sports?
Well, Brooke and Tommy, after this short break, I will catch us up on the Griffon football team and volleyball team seasons as today's sports report.
Hi, so tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Paul. That's short for polyethylene terephthalate. I like long walks on the beach and soda pop.
Me too.
And you know, I'm just looking for someone to spend the next 450 years with. I mean, I'm not decomposing anytime soon.
I'm not sure I'm ready for that type of commitment.
But wait!
Maybe it's time to break it with Paul. Use reusable beverage containers and recycle plastic bottles.
Welcome back to Griffon Update Sports. I'm your host, Amari Martin. The Missouri Western football team kicked off their season opener in the brand new renovated Spratt Stadium. In week 1, they faced Nebraska Kearney. Talk about a blowout game. The Griffons defeated the Lopers 44-21. Sophomore running back Josh Caldwell showed up big in this game, totaling up a career high of 168 yards. Caldwell carried the ball 23 times and had 1 touchdown carry. He, along with 4 other Griffons, Kendall Short, Derek Gray, and quarterback Corey Bertini, all had rushing touchdowns. I wonder what Coach Partridge had to say about that, but I guess we'll never know because the mic wasn't working. But I'm sure he was pleased with the performance of his backup quarterback, Corey Bertini. Bertini had a remarkable debut. He was 11-20 for 160 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. On the defensive side of things, Dante Watkins led with 10 tackles. In week 2, the Griffons hit the road to Joplin, Missouri. The Griffons came out and dominated the Lions for the 4th straight win in Joplin. The Griffons rushed Missouri Southern 262 yards to 30. Quarterback Skylar Windmiller had one of his best games, completing 83% of his passes. The Griffons improved 2-0, defeating the Lions 51-14. The Griffons were back at home facing number 14 Central Missouri. This was a back-and-forth battle between these rivals. The Griffons took the lead 34-31 thanks to running back Josh Caldwell with 8:35 remaining in the game. But unfortunately, the Mules answered with a 98-yard touchdown. The Griffons suffered their first loss 38-34. In week 4, the Griffons head to Oklahoma to face Central Oklahoma. Speaking of Oklahoma, the volleyball team took over the GAC MIAA crossover with back-to-back wins. The Griffons defeated Northwestern and Southwestern Oklahoma State. Overall, the Griffons have a record of 8-4 and will head to Joplin to take on the Lions. In other sports news, the Missouri Western Athletic Program introduced a men's and women's track and field along with cross country to the athletic program for the 2017-2018 school year. On our next episode, I will be sitting down with the cross country and track and field coach Mark Beerbaum on my one-on-one with Amari Martin. For more information on Griffon athletics, check out gogriffons.com.
Thanks, Amari. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. You can watch our show on MWSU TV Channel 12.
You can also catch us in the Griffon Update Vimeo and YouTube channels and the Missouri Western Student Media homepage.
For all of us here at Griffon Update, thank you for watching.